Alright, hey guys, we're gonna react to Asmongold reacting to Ubisoft stuff and whatnot, and kind of see what he thinks. I figured we'd watch through this. I gotta make sure it is HD.
All right, so I've had a lot of people
get.
talk about this, and like people have been posting about it a lot. Yeah, this is here's one right here. Well, I'll watch the trailer first, and I'll create my own opinion.
Who are you? Who do you serve?
I still think this trailer is pretty sick.
All I have ever known in my life. Our land,
Looks nice.
our customs, my family. Burns in the name of unification.
Okay.
The village is burning. I still think it's really cool they're doing
Who knows nothing
like a real life character of
The ocean is
Yasuke.
filled with new ships, but they all come from the same river. Greed.
So this is the guy.
Power.
Somebody said Kanye. That was right.
Vengeance.
My understanding, by the way, is that's not what they did, but it doesn't really matter. That's cool.
And you, will you continue down that river? Or choose another path beyond what we see?
And we
And like Yasuke is such a good character choice. Like they haven't ever used a character that was real, like a real character that had like important significance. Or like they have, but not like as the playable character. But Yasuke is like one of the best choices they could have gone with for this, because one, it's just time appropriate, and also he's like one of the people with like the least, like the most and least known about him, where like he kind of any mention of him kind of disappeared after like a hot minute, so it kind of leaves an open interpretation and allows them to like capitalize on that, which is cool. So that's exciting and interesting.
must look for it. Together. We must learn to trust. Rebuild.
And follow the blade.
I saw an article about how they're potentially trying to push like not like Syndicate, but the same type of style as like GTA or whatever.
I will say the choreography for like the fights is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. The Assassin's Creed has really good fight choreography, especially for trailers.
Is that a mace?
Kind of a...
I said,
I love it. Look.
We are the shadows.
That served the light.
Okay, so there it is, and that's the game right there, a woke game. And so basically, a lot of people are mad because apparently this black guy, like this is Yasuk. I don't look. I don't know a lot about Japanese, like, when was this? This was like the 1800s, right? I'm pretty sure like early 1800s, somewhere around there. I don't really say, was it 1600s? Okay, yeah, I don't remember exactly, because I remember, like the Nobunaga, who was like the guy who this guy served. The reason why, like, one big thing with him is he used like guns and like his armies, and that's like where they showed it, but he used it with like bow and arrows too. And so like there's like an element of this that's like attached to realism and like to something that actually happened. He wasn't a samurai. Yeah. Like, I'll tell you this, right, is I've read things about this, I've heard things about this, I watched, like, a documentary about, like, this time period even. This guy was never even mentioned. Like, it never even got mentioned once, right? Like, I had no idea this guy even existed until, what do you call it? And until this game got announced, right? He was just a retainer. Well, like, he was a slave? I don't necessarily know that. Literally no one in Assassin's Creed is real. So we have Yasuk, but there's not a single mention of Nobunaga Oda. Seems weird or off. I think that there clearly is, right? I mean, like, I would say, like, this kind of indicates, I mean, I bet that's him. Like, if I had to say, I bet that's probably him. Now, I could be wrong, but if I had to guess, that's it. Let me see what this says.
So we got our first look at the new Assassin's Creed game,
this,
and I gotta say, man, I'm not impressed. I'm actually just really annoyed right now. We have two main protagonists, one female, one male, just like Odyssey. We're gonna be using Neo. I hope I said that right. A female Japanese character. Yeah. And for the male character, they're gonna be using Yasuke. Now, I'm annoyed because they're using Yasuke, and I'm gonna tell you why. Yasuke is what they want to say is the first black Japanese samurai, when in all actuality, he was not even a samurai. He was a retainer, so he wasn't even a full-blown samurai. And for all of the characters they could have used for Japan, all these kind of different people they could have picked from, they picked Yasuke. Why do they pick Yasuke? Because he's black.
Obviously.
So in context, that doesn't matter to me. Because in all the Assassin's Creed games, every single character has been of some kind of different race and nationality, so that doesn't matter to me. That's fine. But you have to understand what day and age we're in. You have to understand the kind of social shit that they want to try to get across.
I don't feel like it was a social move at all. Like, I like the idea of having, even if he wasn't a samurai and he was a retainer, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, really? Like, I don't know the history too much or anything like that, but retainers were essentially bodyguards. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched for him to know the teachings of a samurai, even if he was just a retainer. And well, I don't see the problem with them, like, pushing it to where, like, changing his story at all, like, or like aspects of his story, like, it's not an issue. They do that with a bunch of characters in Assassin's Creed, where there's some real life characters with a fictional aspect to that, like Da Vinci helping I think Ezio with like upgrades for gear and prototype stuff, prototype gadgets and things like that. I really don't think it's a social thing. Like, you could potentially say it was a social move. I mean, I can see where they kind of were coming from, because Ubisoft is known to kind of do stuff like that, but also at the same time, like, how woke does, like, I feel like a lot of people just place the woke tag on everything. Granted, I mean, it's such a 50-50 thing nowadays, whether people are actually like try and push an agenda or not. And even if they are, like, who really cares? I mean, it's just people being butthurt for no reason. Like people with the J.K. Rowling thing, with Hogwarts Legacy, and I forget, there was another recent game that had people draw for something. I can't remember, but it's. I just feel like people are getting, like, pushing their thoughts and values onto things that have nothing to do with it and saying it does by, I don't know. I just think it's stupid. I don't think it was a social move, and even if it was, it's not a terrible one at all. I don't think it's too
video
woke.
games now. So instead of using a Japanese man in a game based in Japan, like they did with the other Assassin's Creed games, Altair, he was an Arab, obviously. One of my favorites, Connor, in Assassin's Creed 3, he was Native American, that was fine. And the most famous of them all, Ezio Auditore, who was Italian. So why in all those games would you have a character representative of the...
Yeah, like, and the thing with the Asuke, sure, he was a retainer, but he was a slave before he became a retainer, or he was whatever. He knows he was essentially, like, I don't know, he was potentially like 20 to like 40 in that range. And like, I feel like in your life, from age 0 to fucking like the day you're born to the age of like 40, that's only like half of your lifetime. That's still essentially your like learning phases, essentially. I mean, like, I don't know if 40's pushing it, but like, you're still learning. And I feel like being in a area long enough, like living in a place long enough, makes you one of the people. And it's really dumb that there's so much like I don't know, separation between people who've like lived, who were born and raised there, and the people that moved to a location and then lived there for the rest of their life. Like, Yasuke is, I wouldn't say like, I would put him as Japanese as a regular Japanese man. So like, I feel like this argument is kind of invalid. I don't really, it's not, it depends on your point of view, but I guess like I feel like it's not, it's kind of an invalid argument. It's just something somebody wants to say about it. Like, he lived there for a long time.
The region they're from. But in this game, you want to demote a Japanese man and then use Yasuke. I understand why, we know why, but they're not going to tell you why, because if you call it out, you're some kind of ist or phobe or whatever. And since I'm black and I'm calling it out, that means that I must hate my skin or something. You know how they do. I just see this and my immediate thought is they did this for brownie points. I can't think.
Yeah, I think that's the way a lot of people feel about it. It's the same with having like a girl as an assassin. Like, what the, like, bro, like, yeah, you had a little bit of that, but like, what are we doing here? Like, we gonna really talk about this is what feudal Japan was like? It's a story about a black guy and a girl? Like, that's just probably not the way it was. And it's like, it doesn't really matter, right? It's like, you know, for example, because I was thinking about this, is like The Last Samurai. Because like Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai, like, why did people, like, because I don't know, like, how much different really is that versus this? It's hard really to say, because I was typing out too, that's a fair point, there are better choices. Yeah, and it's just like, here's the problem with like something like this. This is where I come from with this. Very different era though. Yeah, that's true. Is that whenever I see like a game that comes out and it has, you know, this is feudal Japan and like the main character is a black guy and a girl, I immediately like there's like no escapism that this can provide because the entire story is built on the foundation of trying to appeal to a quote modern audience. Like that's the way that I see it. Is like whenever I look at something like this, I don't view this as like an authentic like piece of fiction. I don't view it as a, you know, like it's not historical. It's just like kind of fan fiction in a way. And so not appeal to, but influence. Well, either way, right? Whatever you want to call it. I don't want to argue like what the word you want to use is, but just overall, like if I was a Japanese person, I would probably be kind of annoyed by this. I'm not, so like I don't really like. I mean, I don't like what the fuck does my opinion matter, right? But the truth is that that's the way I see it. Whenever I see a game that gets released and it has something like this, I just immediately don't take it seriously. Because it's just that I think I just assume it's fake. Like it's just some bullshit, fake bullshit. That's it. I mean, you should care about appeal and influence because the idea is to indeed influence. Yeah, but everybody also has the right to influence people how they choose because everybody has the right to expression, even if you disagree with them. Just like we do whenever we're talking about it right now. All art is bullshit and fake. Yeah, you're right. It is all bullshit and fake, but there's something that's like a willing suspension of disbelief. And I think that really, I don't really get that with this game because it's just so in your face. And it just seems like, it's like there's no way this was done without, like, this was done very clearly because of like the race and gender of the characters. Like, that's why it's like this. It's forced, yeah, and like I see that, and it's just like, okay, this is just, I gotta take it that seriously, you know? Breaks emerge, it's too blatant, yeah.
Think of any other reason why you would have a Assassin's Creed game.
And by the way, if this is important, somebody mentioned this in chat. The game's good, it doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
Asmongold's right about that. It doesn't matter if the game's good. Like if the game's good, everything else don't matter. Like all the social aspects of it. But I still don't think. Like, sure, it was intentional, like a choice to pick Yasuke and a female assassin character, but at the same time, I feel like women, I don't know, I'm not too sure how historically accurate it was. Hold on, let me. Were there female shinobis? Okay, I guess there was no I mean there's there's no female ninjas. I mean limited. But it's Wikipedia. Wikipedia is kind of true. Like the idea, there's like even a word for it. Kunoichi. So, and numerous creative works. Like there's no historical records, but Onimusha, he's from samurai, Bushi warrior class, and feudal Japan. Okay, so like, that's a fictionist. Tsunade. Okay, so like there isn't like too much history about it, but I feel like there was some like kunoichis and like females, so like I wouldn't put it past it because maybe they were so good at what they did that there wasn't any records, you know, like. Because most females, like female assassins and stuff like that. Like they're great for like females are great for infiltration and information gathering because they can use their body to get what they want. You know, so I wouldn't put past it if there was just a more combat oriented kunoichi. But I mean, I still don't think it's a bad choice to go the route that they did with the characters. Like sure they could have gone like the best route, but and just have two male characters, but also like I mean, fucking change it up, man. For the first like 6, almost even like a majority of Assassin's Creed games is male characters. I mean, I don't really see the problem of having a game where there's a female lead. Like, I don't mind that. it could be worse.
Like,
You
people
could be
still
the
play the game if
hawk
it's
or
good.
the eagle.
Like, if the game's genuinely good, has great gameplay, people still play it. Doesn't matter.
In Japan, which we've been clamoring for since the beginning of Assassin's Creed.
You would assume that,
and then have
you know,
the
yeah.
main protagonist that is a male be black. I see that and I'm like, there's no other reason than I want claps for it. There's no other reason. And I'm an Assassin's Creed fan. I've played every game. I love every game. And one of my favorite characters is actually Cassandra from Odyssey. So nobody can sit here and say, I don't like women or I don't like diverse people or whatever, when one of my favorite characters is diverse. Hell, Connor Kenway and Hatham
It's not about hating women or like thinking the diversity is bad. It's that whenever you try to tell a story, like it's just like with like, especially, and this is the case with like, I would say like more realistic fantasy, there's not a real situation where like a woman is going to be able to like beat 3 guys as an assassin. It's just not real. Everybody knows it's not real. And so it just seems silly. And like it makes sense in games like WoW, because you have like magic or like, you know, she's an archer or something like that, for sure. But like if you're talking about actually like physical hand-to-hand like prowess in combat, there's no way.
I mean,
Anti-women settings, yeah.
I feel like he's kind of wrong on that. Just because females are slimmer and they can be quicker because of that. So, in like for an assassin type, like for essentially an assassin class for anything, like you want to be quick. Dexterity is your main stat for anything like that. So having a slim body and kind of be smaller in stature and frame allows you to be quicker. And it's not like assassins fight with their fists. They fight usually with daggers or like stealth-based weapons like a bow and arrow or things like that, poisons, things like there's ways for a female assassin to take down like 3 males or like 3 grown adults or even like 20 in a fight. Granted, they might not have the stamina as a male, but that doesn't really matter much if you're quick enough, you know? If you take down half of them like fast enough, like a prolonged fight with maybe a bit more wouldn't be too bad. And like you know, for like a fact that like in the previous game, like the previous games, like the male assassins, like sure they was stealthy, but also like you could tell quite a bit of them were more like in your face combat orientated.
Come on, like what are we talking about here?
Wait, those are some of my favorite characters from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So before the idiots want to start, that's not the reason. The reason is I see straight through this bullshit, and I know exactly why they picked this character. It's annoying. That's like if Ghost of Tsushima, instead of using Jin, they used a white dude. People would be like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
This doesn't make any sense to me. It's stupid. I know exactly why they're doing it. I see straight through it. It's annoying. It's pandering. It doesn't do anything for me but piss me off.
People say Lara Croft, yeah. A lot of people that use like examples of other characters, like they have things like Lara Croft is shooting people with a gun. Do you see kind of like what the difference is? So like that's the way it makes sense. But like I'm saying in like physical combat, in physical combat, there's not a realistic situation where, you know, any guy who's like even partially trained at all to be like a fighter is going to lose to some girl. Like, it's just probably not going to happen. Like, let's be honest here. And so whenever I see this happen in games and it's done this way, it just seems like bullshit to me. I think obviously this character and the game exists as a way to spread some sort of, you know, like diversity message, something like that. I can see why Assassin's Creed fans would be annoyed by it. It does seem kind of patronizing in a way, especially whenever the character like the Yasuke is like, there's so much contention, right? Even if like you think that he's like a samurai or whatever, there's a tremendous amount of contention about whether it's true or not. People saying LTake live in La La Land. Well, it's just, yeah, that's. I mean, look, it's just biology, right? I mean, I'm not. Look, I didn't go complain to God. Like, I didn't make it this way. I'm not. Look, I'm not fighting. I'm not trying to say this is the way it should be. Like
he's not necessarily wrong, but in terms of like the context of the situation, he kind of is wrong. But like in a normal situation in combat, like if it was hand-to-hand combat, fists, a female would most likely lose for the most part. I mean, there might be some instances where they're more agile and get but if like if the man that just has a bit bigger frame or like more of like muscle mass or anything like that, he can break out most holds. And like it's the like whole case of like the quick versus strong kind of deal. Like there's like a whole ass animation about it. Dex build versus strength build animation. There's animations about it. It's the whole like if like no, I mean I get why it's only Elden Ring and god, it's not right. It's not what I want. Drawings. I'm not gonna find what I mean. This is annoying. I'm not looking for Elden Ring. On any other day, maybe. Right now, no. Quick versus strong. I mean, that's a shit animation, but like, I guess it kind of proves my point. Not animation. Oh, this is what I was looking for. This thing right here. Like, this is essentially what, like, the fight would be about, like, a female versus, like, a male with more muscle mass. Like, agility versus strength. This is kind of the case that Asmongold is talking, like, a full fist fight like that. But that's only if they're doing, like, a fist fight. You know, I'd like to subscribe to this anyways, because this is what I meant by that. Like, Asmongold's not necessarily wrong for his viewpoint, but like, in the case that, like, extenuating circumstances where the female will have, like, an assassin would have weaponry, like daggers, a hidden blade because she's in the Assassin's Creed series, probably a tanto, or a short sword, whichever. If you don't know what a tanto is, a short sword, or like shuriken or kunai or things like this. In this case of it being in Japan, the type of weaponry that would have been used, like, and poisons, like she would be able to take on that many enemies. So it's like,
this is just the way it is.
she's just more.
I mean, I don't know what to
slimmer
say. Anyway,
and
most
whatnot.
heroic thing about this trailer is they left the comments open. That's true. Always remember, the best part of the Ubisoft game is usually the trailers. Piracy isn't stealing if buying is not owning. It has nothing to do with it. After seeing this trailer, I'm excited to play Ghost of Tsushima. In the eyes of Ubisoft execs, this is a $70 plus rental. Remember, never pre-order. It's impossible for me to play a samurai game after Ghost of Tsushima. Dude, every single one of these comments are bad. Oh my god. Asking for pre-orders without gameplay is wild. Where's the pre-order thing? Available November. What is this? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Now this is the fuckery part right here. This is
They're
the
doing
bad
it
bit.
again. Who cares about the main character? The game's $130. This is insane. It's fucking, are you kidding me? It's $130 for the game. And you get 3, oh my god. So the base game, guys, this is the base game. It's $70. You don't take into account weapon mastery? Women can easily win if they're better with a sword or a dagger? I implore you, please, please, please. Learn your biology, man. Learn your biology. I get what you're saying, but let's be honest. Let's be real. Come on, stop it. Just stop it. Anyway, standard edition is $70. The gold edition is $110. Oh my god. Somebody's using the example of Joan of Arc. How many times are you going to type that? You're so dumb. What are you doing? What are you... That's like a terrible example. That's an awful fucking example. Joan of Arc was a leader, not a warrior. Yeah, she was a religious zealot. She thought God was talking to her. They burned her alive. Yeah, is that a warrior? What, because she found a sword? After she helped them? Yeah, sure. I mean, I know they're assholes for doing that. But, like, all I'm saying is, like, that's just not what it was. In this situation, you're the one in the wrong. It has nothing to do with biology, slit someone's throat. It does. Like, I understand that... Oh, God. I would just implore you, please look into biology and how people are going to react to things. Just come on. Like, it's just the culture and the time back then. It's just completely unrealistic. It's completely unrealistic. I'm sorry. And I think that how many of you guys, how many normal, rational people do we have in here that see how obviously fucking unrealistic and ridiculous this is? I mean, everybody. It's outrageous.
It's a mix.
What are you even talking about?
It's a 50-50 mix for me, honestly.
It's not even close.
It's
fucking dumb. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but anybody arguing this is just
realistic.
fucking delusional. I don't even know. Why are we still talking about this? Look at this here. $130 for the game. This is exactly what they did with Star Wars. They're doing it again. Everybody's mad about the character. Maybe this is their strategy. You know what? Maybe this is the new Ubisoft strategy. Add in a main character for a game that's really controversial, and that way it'll distract people from the fact that you're trying to get people to spend $130 for the fucking game.
Or
This
push
is
you
insane.
into the monthly thing.
Oh my god.
Both are bad.
I don't even know what to say.
Like, even
well, it's just like the...
you get the base game, you get pre-order bonus. What was bad was what was down here. The ultimate pack, right, gives you 5 additional, like, 5 starting skill points. And that is, I mean, when it comes to single player games and microtransactions, and in terms of, like, things that boost your stuff, And I read somewhere that the game is going to be as big as Origins, the map of Origins, like as big as Egypt. And they want like the mountains and shit to feel like real, so I don't know. It's probably gonna be obviously it might be a grind fest again, and I'm not excited about that. I just don't suck ass.
Why do you have 3-day early access? A season? Wait, there's a season pass? Are you kidding me? Why is there a season pass? Well, let me see if I can figure this out. All right, so it says season pass includes a bonus quest on day 1 with additional unlockable content, as well as 2 upcoming expansions. So let me get this straight.
That's the shit thing, is locking content behind pre-order bonuses and shit like that, like story content, is ass. That's the issue. That's always an issue. It's one thing to have like day 1 DLC where it's like a mission that you can pay money for separate. Granted, it's kind of fucked that it's a day 1 DLC and there's already content that's locked behind a paywall. It'd be something like different if it was released a month or 2 later, where it's like, oh, we came out with this like additional mission, is this, but also it would be just as easy to make the additional mission and just add it into the game for everyone to play without paying for it. So I feel like this whole situation,
you buy the game
like
and you
whack.
don't even get everything in the game. It's day 1 DLC. Why do people buy this shit? Like, I really hope they stop doing this. This is crazy, man. Why are they charging $18 a month as an option?
Like,
because, well, this is the real reason why,
like a government,
why it's priced this way.
Governmental thing.
So it's priced this way and it's created this way in order to get you and funnel you over to this right here. That's why it's got an outline around it. I mean, it might as well have a neon sign with, like, you know, girls in bikinis pointing over to it, okay?
Yeah,
with, like, you know, flashing arrows, you know, maybe a red circle for a YouTube thumbnail. Like, let's be fucking honest. This is the one that they want you to click on, because Ubisoft Plus is how they get you into their ecosystem and they start making money off of you on a regular basis, right? It's making them more money, yeah. And they've obviously done the math on this. You've got to keep this in mind. They know that they will probably make more money off of you if you have Ubisoft Plus rather than just buying the base game. Even though you'd need to buy Ubisoft Plus for, let's see, it's $18, $130. So that's about, I don't know, like 7 months, basically, right? And maybe 8 months of subscription. Will they probably get most people for 8 months? Probably, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, because of the amount of games.
Yeah, so, Netflix for games? Yeah, basically. Never forget, you never truly own Ubisoft games? Yeah, I guess so. No? Well, of course the answer is yes. If the answer wasn't yes, then they wouldn't be offering this. Like, I understand that you think that you wouldn't do it, but what you would do doesn't matter. What matters is what most people do. And the truth is that most people are irresponsible and stupid. And if you're the kind of person that would have bought a game for $130, but now you're just subscribing to this, you categorically are probably irresponsible and or stupid. So big fucking surprise that whenever you're fishing for fish in the stupid pond, you get a lot of dumb fucking fish. And that's why they do this. That's the whole reason. That's 100%. Their whole goal.
And also,
the
like,
game will be sold for $25.
Also, part of it too is like you get a lot of people, they just have subscriptions that they forget about, or like the things that they don't actively interact with as much, like a WoW subscription. Maybe you don't play WoW all the time, but you do play WoW. You play like once or twice a month, maybe a week out of the month, give or take. But then like and then maybe you won't play the next month, right? But you're like, oh, I'm the I might play it, so I'm gonna have my subscription, but then you don't play it, and you just won't cancel that subscription. So like, and like with the WoW subscription, it's not even like the same as a ESO Plus subscription where like you get crowns and stuff each month that add right to your account over time. So like it's kind of beneficial because then you can use those crowns to get the DLC if you down the road if you just want to cancel your ESO Plus and then just keep the DLC that you're able to get with the crowns that you've earned. So like it's subscriptions are king nowadays for everything, like streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, fucking everything else. They're just trying to squeeze the populace out of all their money. It's just is what it is nowadays, and it's really ass that a majority of stuff nowadays is tiered, well, not tiered, geared around subscriptions and try and push people into that thing. Like, Asmongold just reacted recently to a YouTube channel that tried pushing their own like platform for their videos, and that went horribly because they were like, we're not gonna post anything to YouTube anymore, type thing. Everything's gonna be on the subscription service. This YouTube channel is dying, type thing. And it was stupid, and they retracted that shit because everyone's like, you're fucking dumb. Why am I gonna spend this money just to watch your content that is supposedly supposed to be on par with live television when no one really watches live television? And like the people that don't interact with YouTube or games and stuff like that. Like the people who watch like cable TV, they don't care about like YouTube or things like that. They don't know about it, or if they do know, like obviously nowadays everyone kind of knows what YouTube is. Like even if people aren't actively like searching for like game content or like content like that. Anyway, I went on a tangent. Let's get back to the fucking video.
1 month after. Yes, exactly. Well, it depends on if the game goes well. And only 1 out of 10 are forgetting for a year that they're in the plus. Only 1 out of 10 are forgetting for a year. Yeah, but what if the 1 out of 10 does forget out of the year, and then that one person stays subscribed for 3 years? Think about it like that. And so also, like, you have to keep in mind that they're probably not actually, like, this price right here is, they don't want you to buy this. And I know this sounds crazy, but Ubisoft doesn't want you to give them $130. They want the value proposition to be, this is the what's the word for it? This is the anchor price, and then this is the cheap price, right?
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is you actually really only need to keep them on the hook. If it's $18 and it's $70, what's that? All they need to do is keep you on the hook for 4 months, and then they've already made their money back from the standard edition. Because I bet most people, this is the psychology that I think that they're using, and I think it's very effective psychology. So most people are probably not going to buy the Ultimate Edition because this is crazy. No. But because the standard edition is perceived at a $70 value, and then these increases in value are at 110 and 130 proportionally, then the
and then like the thing is like $70, right? And the increase in like I don't know about that, but for the price of $18, you also get each of the things that come with the 130 edition, for a quarter the price of the $70 for the standard. And like you could be like, all right, I'm gonna spend a month, right? $18 for 1 month, and then I'm gonna spend the whole month playing this game, right? I'm gonna beat it. But then a DLC comes out and you're like, well, I'll spend another 18, but the DLC content only has enough content for like maybe 8 to 30 hours of gameplay, which might, for some people, that might take a whole month to get through, depending, like people with families and jobs. But for like someone who doesn't have a family, like a wife or kids, or husband and kids, or whatever, and they're like, well, I just go to work and I go home. I could slam this out in like a weekend or 2 weekends and be done with it. Or like an hour or two a day, if not more, after work or before work. And I'll get my value for it for 18 bucks. And then I get all of these things still. And potentially, if say they beat the game within a month, do everything within like maybe 2 weeks. They slam the game. They put in 20 to 40 hours within the first 2 weeks. I mean, 40 hours is crazy. That means you essentially just didn't go to work. But you put like 20 to 40 hours. So realistically, let's say like 25 to 30. That's probably the best range. 25 to 30 hours. Got everything done somehow if the game is kind of catered toward that amount of hours. Like if you want 100% the game and it takes 25 to 30 hours, you get it done within the first 2 weeks, or even like the first week it's been out. You have 3 other weeks, you're like, there's 100 plus PC games, Ubisoft games. Let's check out some of the other Ubisoft games, see if it's worth it, you know? And then they kind of keep you hooked, because then you're like, well, I'm only paying 18 bucks. I have access to all these games. I might as well keep my subscription and be able to play all these games for a fraction of the price. I'm not... And obviously, I would imagine with the other Ubisoft games, you probably get all the additional content for the price of the $18 a month as well. So like, it's not like if you go to play Valhalla, you'll probably get all the DLC, the like 4 to 6 DLC for 18 bucks, and that's like 100 to 200 hours of gameplay. Well, now that price point seems reasonable, right? So they're just trying to cater, like, gear you toward this by being like, you're saving money by not buying this, or not buying this. But honestly, if you want to save money, just wait for the game to go on sale on Steam or Xbox or PlayStation, whatever you're playing it on. Wait for it to hit the sale and then pick it up, because I think right now, actually, I think the Assassins, they're not on sale anymore. They're on sale. They're currently on sale right now. I think they put these on sale because of the most recent, with the release of the trailer of Shadows, to try and like hype up by having people play the games. I was debating on picking up the games on PC over instead of playing it on Xbox. But I think recently in the last year I bought out the DLC for Valhalla on Xbox, and I just don't need to fucking beat the game. Anyways, back to the video.
$17 a month is compared not to the standard edition, but to the ultimate edition that people actually never had any interest in buying in the first place. So you're looking at a much bigger difference in price. Psychologically, the person says, wow, I can get the really good one for only $17, $18. And then, but this is something they would have never actually made that decision in the first place. They would have always been choosing to buy probably this edition or maybe this edition, but realistically probably this one. So psychologically, you get them in with this price. You upsell them to this price, you discount it down to this price, and then you get them thinking they're getting a good deal on this price whenever they came to the store, they were only looking for this price. That's what I think they're doing, and I think it's a brilliant strategy, and I bet it's working.
Yeah,
I do. I bet it's completely working. That's what I think they're doing. And I think it's a great idea. Spot on. Yeah, of course, right? Like, as I said, like, I know a lot about this, right? And so that's how I would do it. And that's a very good idea. This PhD psychologist who can study consumer behavior, I know that. I've read some of this stuff. That's how I know about this. This is very, very effective. And so let's go ahead and do the math. So if it's $70 and it's $18, 18 times 2 is 36, and then 36 times 2 is 72, right? So $72. That means all they need to do is keep you on the hook for 4 months, and they're already, on average, making more money off of you than they would have made off of the person who only bought this edition. Because again, this was never in the picture. This was never actually intended as the sales price. This is only going to be for like super fans and super idiots. And other than that, usually the same thing even. Other than that, they are upselling you for this to create, again, the difference. Where are the prices next to each other? This price is next to this price.
Yeah,
so whenever
this isn't over here, where it's like least to greatest. It's right after the greatest price. It's essentially been like, look, 130, or you can spend 18. And like they're titled the same, Ultimate Edition. They're next to each other. Or you can get the $130 Ultimate Edition, or you could get the $18 a month Ultimate Edition, which some people
look
are like,
at your eyes.
God.
Like, you're looking right in here, right? You're not thinking about this $69 anymore because you're looking over here. So you're comparing these two prices, which comparatively makes this price cheaper. And again, this is clearly going in ascending order.
Someone
this is
just typed in the chat too. Also, you don't own the game when you do this, which is ass, right? I like building my library. Like, I have, how many games do I got? 348 games. Granted, a lot of them are free games, like free. Yeah, a lot of them are free
the cheapest, the second cheapest, and the most expensive. So logically, based off of the way that this is presented, this actually should be over here. But it's not over here because putting it over here creates a larger comparative psychological difference and causes more people to buy the Ubisoft Plus. And I bet it's working. Because again, let's go ahead and look at this.
Of the price of the 131.
Look at this a little bit more, right? So let's say you have, how many people do you think keep their subscription? They just are subscribed to Ubisoft Plus, like, let's say for 2 years, for 1.5 years. 1 out of 5? Okay, so 1 out of 5. All right. So 1 out of 5, that's going to be 4 months to recoup the original cost. You take 1 out of 5, so that's going to be 4 months. Or sorry, we'll look at 18 months. So that's going to be 4. 18 and 4 is 4.2, 4.5. So they are already going to be making their money back, even if only 1 in 5 people stay subscribed. 20% seems high. I think it seems low. A lot of people are really stupid. 40% during holidays from August to February? Yeah. It's low? Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, especially,
that's fine.
Another thing, if, like, teenagers get this, right, this pass, because I would imagine some teenagers have subscriptions, because I know for a fact I did as a teenager. Granted, I didn't have many. I only had, like, 1 or 2. Because I was, I didn't even have a job. I was just getting disability income from my dad. I was getting essentially my child support from my dad into my bank account, and I was using that. That was my spending money. I paid my bills with that. I paid my health insurance to my mother, which was kind of ass, I would say. Because instead of her, I mean, it was nice because instead of her getting the $500 a month, I was the one getting $500 a month. And I was able to do what I wanted with that shit. So if I wanted to buy a game, I could buy a game. And honestly, I put like a majority of that into savings. It was only like a year and a half I got it, until I turned 18 and I lost it. But at that point, it didn't, no, it was, I got it until I finished high school, which then I went and got a job, so it didn't really affect me too much.
know if those people found value. Well, a lot of people either well, like, again, that's a reason.
That's
like, obviously, like,
so
I look
with
at
money.
it from a very, very cynical perspective, but you're bringing up a good point too, and you're saying that these people are seeing value in it, and that's why they're staying subscribed. You're totally fucking right. You're completely right. Because some people will subscribe to Ubisoft Plus and actually enjoy the games that they're playing, and then stay inside of their ecosystem longer and stay subscribed for 4 years. And think about what's the value of fucking 4 months. Or sorry, 4 of this. Let's see, how much would that be? $720. That's a huge amount of money. That's an insane amount of money. Think about that. Yeah, actually, no, it's more. Never mind, I multiplied against 10. But no, it's more. It's about like $850. That's a huge amount of money just from one individual.
Yeah, but if they're only playing PC, right, and they don't have like Xbox Game Pass or anything like that. So I have like Xbox Game Pass. I'm paying for Game Pass or Xbox subscription for me and my wife. So we both have one, and that's like $30 a month, right? But that's if like I only have it because I have an Xbox. And I use my Xbox to play games with my Xbox friends. Granted, a lot of games nowadays, like PC games and stuff like that, you can play with your Xbox friends and stuff. Like there's a whole like app and everything. So like, if say you weren't doing that and all your friends are on PC, or you only played games on your PC, this isn't a bad deal. 100 plus PC games. Granted, a good portion of them might not be. Actually, no, they might be games you might play because Ubisoft doesn't do sports games. I was thinking of EA and their subscription. My glasses seem dirty. Yeah, they are. I'm just gonna hit play.
$216 a year? Yeah. School text from 1582 proved Yasuk was a samurai. Nobunaga gave him stipend, and people said he would make Yasuk a lord or sir. I'd have to look into it and see it. I'll say that, like, again, I've heard about this before. I didn't even know that he was a character in the story, in, like, you know, history until, like, this, what do you call it? Until this game was coming out, right? Yeah, sure. And again, like, I think that really this is kind of the difference. And, like, this guy said it pretty well, right? Like, let me see if I can hear it. Look.
They could have used for Japan. He was a retainer, so he wasn't even a full-blown samurai. And for all of the characters they could have used for Japan, all these kind of different people they could have picked from, they picked Yasuke. Why do they pick Yasuke? Because he's black.
It's obvious. It's obvious. Everybody knows it. And that's the difference. Everybody knows it. So obvious, yeah, and that's the reason. They were fucking stupid. They didn't know what it means to be a samurai. They didn't even know what a samurai was. They just think it's some kind of Japanese warrior. Yeah, all I'm saying is that this is I think a lot worse. Like, I don't really care if they want to butcher like Japanese history. This is not my problem, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of the Assassin's Creed games are not super historically accurate. It doesn't really matter that much. If the game is good and it plays well, then I would play it. I think most people would play it. It's a little bit weird that they went with this decision, and it does seem like it's quite obviously politically motivated, or, you know, like socio-politically motivated. 100% it is. But if the game is good, it doesn't. None of this matters. None of it matters. But this is a problem. $130 for a fucking game.
Yeah,
that is nuts. The goal is to make you think your way, make you think the way that you're doing right now, so you're not calculating in buying the game or the price of the game for it. Yeah, exactly. If I get the Ultimate Edition, can I play as a samurai furry? They should let you do that. The fact that you're saying everyone knows it and you're right shows me opinion was swinging the other way. Everyone's getting tired. The big companies will respond eventually as such. Well, that's up to them, right? All I'm saying is that this is a it's another Ubisoft game. It's the same as the what do you call it? The Star Wars game, the Star Wars Outlaws game. Like, I will say this. I am infinitely more excited about Assassin's Creed Shadows than I am about the Star Wars game. Like, this at least seems cool. Like, the Star Wars game, there's nothing cool about that. It's just fucking cringe garbage. Honestly, had a female Spartan warrior historically accurate is a joke in these games. Yeah, but I can see how people would be kind of annoyed if they're taking, like, one individual character and, like, acting like, oh, it was like this all along. You know, it's like kind of an insult to people's intelligence to a certain degree. Why can't we just have a normal
So he
Japanese
says
person as
she's
samurai?
shifting.
Like, please, yeah, exactly. Japanese people aren't black, so it's not very DI efficient. I don't know. It depends on, like, I don't know how Japanese people feel about this. I'd be very curious to see what they think. Sweet Baby. I don't know why people are bringing up Sweet Baby. I don't know if they have anything to do with this at all. I feel like, again, I've never really been that interested in, what do you call it, in Assassin's Creed. I always thought, like, assassin, like, stealth games were kind of boring, personally.
I mean,
But, you know, maybe if it's good, I might try it out.
Fucking
Assassin's Creed is never made for Japan, to be honest.
with big
The game's set in
swords.
feudal Japan. Yeah, and as non-Japanese looking protagonist. Yeah, I mean, you could see how that's kind of weird. One more game added to the wait for sales game. Well, I feel like every game should be added to the wait for sales list. You should always do that. Like, if you're sitting around, like, and you're making decisions about playing a game without even having the game be released and being able to see a review about it or see gameplay, you are making a very bad decision.
Yeah, some
You're making a
games,
terrible
like,
decision. Also,
bad.
like, and
That's
here's
like
another really
FromSoft.
big component to this, is that if you have day one with Ubisoft Plus, you will have people that start subscribing today. When does Assassin's Creed come out? November. So if it's coming out in November 15th, 2024, if you subscribe today, they will make almost more money off of you if you just stay subscribed until the game comes out than they would if they sold almost any of the other editions. You see how this works? Why would you sub today? Because that's whenever it was advertised. I guarantee you they probably had over 1,000 people subscribe to this. Probably just today.
Probably,
Absolutely,
but,
it's not even
I
a
mean, there's
question.
other games that they
Like,
make,
you got to keep in mind that,
kinda
like,
makes
these
sense.
companies, they're
can
not
play other
doing this
games in
because
the wait.
they're stupid. They're not
They can
stupid.
play
They know
Valhalla.
exactly what they're doing. Come on. A lot of morons in it. I'm just not going to buy it until gameplay or reviews. Yeah, and that's what really matters. Like, again, as I said, I don't really, like, I think it was like a social, like, political reason, like, why they made the characters, like, this way. But that won't stop me from playing a game. It's like what I've said before. Like, a woke game is not good or bad. It might make a bad game worse, but it's never going to make a good game bad. That's the way I see it.
Yeah,
Don't you think that's
he's-
paradox by
that-
forcing
that's
equality in
a
such ways
fucking
means black
good
guys seen as
take.
special instead of equal?
100%.
I don't know. I think that, like, you can look at it in 15 different ways. Ubisoft
So
is
if a
trying to make it a good
gameplay is
deal.
good,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
My son's
what other
13. You have to
things,
think about how much money they make off of children and young adults that want to play everything regardless. They don't have that experience we have with games in the history. Most games still cater towards the younger generation. I think that a lot of people that are like, because you think about it, there's a lot of people that are broke, but there's a lot of people that aren't broke. You know, these people make, like, you know, $80,000 a year. You know, they have, like, a decent house. They're able to, like, take care of themselves. And all of those people can just sign up for Ubisoft Plus and just keep it on their card and never think about it, really. That's what happens with a lot of people. Whales of gaming? I don't even think it's whales of gaming. You have to keep in mind, like, I would say it's, like, the upper 30% of the like the population here in the US probably doesn't have a big money problem. Probably upper 30 to 20% of people, like, you take, you know, like individuals or households, like 1 in 5 or like maybe 3 in 10 probably they're not down bad for money in the same way. Disposable income. Yeah, exactly. They have more disposable income to where this isn't a direct problem. 80K and single is easy. Yeah, exactly. And also, it depends on where you're living, right? I mean, I know in some places 80K is like nothing, but in some places it is a lot more.
All
right. So
yeah. So some mid take throughout the video from Asmongold. I feel I like Asmongold. I like his videos. His takes are always typically really good. His take wasn't necessarily a bad take. I just obviously feel different about some things, but that's opinions for everyone. Yeah, the most egregious thing is the pricing in terms of like things like that. Granted, I feel like it used to be where games, like pre-order versions of games, were like $100 at most. Well, not even 100, like $80. for a pre-order, or for like bonus content, like bonus things. And then it was like 100 to 150 for like the pre-order versions that had like the like statues or like things like that. Like I remember my dad spending a $300 on Borderlands 2 pre-order edition, with the chest. Pre-order chest edition cost. It was $150, yeah. And you got this, and then you got like all this stuff as well. $150 for that, and you got, and like this thing wasn't small either. My dad used this to prop up his recliner. Like the leg part of the recliner. I used that to prop it up because he would sleep in a chair. Especially when I was over for the weekend. He'd use this to prop up his chair that he used for gaming. Like underneath with like a pillow on top and some like a blanket to like keep the legs even of it. But yeah, $150 for this. And this was 11 years ago. And now you spend 130 and you just get extra content and fucking yeah. That's about it. Anyways, guys, I will link the video into like the description, whatever. But as always, leave comments about your thoughts on the video. Thoughts on how you feel about Assassin's Creed Shadows and what Ubisoft is doing with the pricing. Like or dislike the video, you know, if it's not up your alley, that's fine. Subscribe if you like my content. I don't have any set streaming schedule or video schedule. I work full time, got kids, the works. But I like to try to react to some content, post some videos, play games, stream them. You know, the YouTube works. But anyways, thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Toodles.